One Piece chapter 1031. Now this was definitely a Sanji chapter because we finally know his decision in terms of him using the raid suit, as that has been a point of contention for Sanji moving forward in his battle against Queen, whether he would use it or not. Of course, him using the raid suit in a sense is him accepting his family, and that creates a deep-rooted conflict within Sanji, as that is the one thing that he does not want to become. And so after struggling and thinking about it, Sanji has finally come to a resolution that is honestly amazing, and this will change him for the better. And we'll talk more about this later in this video, but let's start from the beginning. Now, as usual, I would appreciate it if you dropped a like on this video and hit the bell if you want to get notified for future content. Now we started the chapter with Kid and Law versus Big Mom, and here we're seeing the aftermath of Kid's awakening, which was devastating, by the way, because it would seem that Big Mom actually took damage from this attack. And this is actually impressive when you think about it, because Kid is not using hacks, he is literally using brute force to penetrate the defenses of the Yonko. And we're seeing here that the force that his magnetism creates is extremely powerful, and again, we don't really know the full spectrum of his abilities yet. Law mentions that Kid's awakening allows him to assign fields of attraction, so based on that definition, this could mean that he could also assign magnetism to not only just people but also other objects that isn't metal. So there is a lot of potential for Kid's devil fruit here. I do also like that Big Mom acknowledges that Kid, Luffy, and Law are just on a different level than the others, in which they possess the potential to actually overthrow the Yonko, and Big Mom has chosen not to hold back anymore. Now Big Mom forces a condition on the Beast Pirates, and she uses those lifespans to bring some of the objects that were close into homies. She also does something that we haven't seen from her before, and that's her actually absorbing her own lifespan. And here she takes 1 year out of her lifespan to get stronger and bigger, and it would seem that she's finally putting in effort to actually take these guys out. And of course, Kid and Law responds just as they need to, in which they aren't going to hold back either. I will say that I am very interested in this battle because we're getting to see the supernovas actually contest against the Yonko. Kid and Law have definitely come a long way. Now moving on to a Pooh and X-Drake side of things. Now it would seem that any form of negotiation has broken down between Pooh and Drake, as they are currently fighting. And this was something that we kind of saw coming in terms of Drake being more level-headed, right? He wouldn't fall for Pooh's tricks, especially considering Pooh's track record of backstabbing, right? I would imagine that Drake is already aware of this, so it makes sense that he didn't take the offer. We get more details on how Pooh's ability actually works, in which X-Drake explains that Pooh's attacks aren't random and they only follow his line of sight. So now there's actually different ways in which you can counter his ability. Initially I thought it was hacks, but once you know the tricks, you can definitely get around it. Now we also get a bit of Yamato here as well, in which she is still heading to the basement so she can avoid the explosives going off. Funny enough, Pooh tries to get Yamato on his side, which will never happen because Yamato is simply not that type of person, and it's definitely come to a point where Pooh is getting very, very desperate at this point. He isn't really affiliated with anyone. He's just a one-man team like X-Drake in some sense, and he's looking for ways to get the advantage of everything that's happening right now. And of course, having more allies benefits him, but it would seem that X-Drake is on his tail, and I think ultimately might be the individual to take him out. We've seen Hawkins versus Killer. I think it makes a lot of sense that another supernova is going to get defeated, and that individual is Pooh. So I think X-Drake will most likely take out Pooh, and he does mention that he does need to repay Luffy for what he did. Now moving on, we actually get a glimpse of the CP0 chasing Robin and Brook in this chapter. It seems that the Minks are trying to protect her, but ultimately cannot stop these guys. Robin does also mention that these guys are the elites amongst the CP0 because they wear masks, which is very interesting because we know that Rob Lucci doesn't wear a mask. So it would seem that these guys are actually above Rob Lucci in terms of command, most likely in terms of strength as well. So it's very likely that they will catch up to Robin, but I feel like someone powerful is going to get in their way, whether it be Marco or Izo or someone really powerful, because I think that CP0 agent is one of their strongest members, and to be honest, we don't really know how strong these guys are, especially that middle one, because he's had the most portrayal of being the leading force within CP0 for quite some time in the story now, right? So we'll see where this is going, because the Robin plotline is very interesting because it's kind of a callback to Enies Lobby, in which Robin is actually a threat once again. So yeah, I do like what's happening here, and a lot of crazy things have been happening in the past couple of chapters now. So we're reaching a point where things are just getting out of hand. And finally, we come to the end of the chapter with Sanji. And this was a great moment for Sanji because we come to see him realize who he truly is. And honestly, this is one of the things that makes Sanji a very interesting character, because unlike the other Straw Hats that have for the most part dealt with their past, Sanji is still haunted by the Vinsmokes, in which his body, after using the raid suit, started to become like his siblings. We also come to find out that his emotions actually did change for a short period of time, and during that short period of time he actually hurt a girl, right? Which is actually unthinkable when you take into account who Sanji really is, right? Knowing his morals as an individual, this was something Sanji would never do, not even to his enemies. So it's coming to a breaking point where he has to decide which route he wants to take. And of course, taking the entirety of Whole Cake into account, this decision makes the most sense, as that arc essentially told us that Sanji was fine the way that he was. He didn't need to become a cyborg to be better than his siblings, and this decision here will lead him to greater heights. And so after recuperating, Sanji finally faces Queen, but this time, instead of choosing to use the raid suit, he destroys the raid suit, as that is the symbol of the thing that he hates the most. And in a sense, it is also him finally moving forward from his past. He does also mention that the sensation that he was having beforehand had stopped, so it's very likely that the transformation could have been complete if Sanji used the raid suit one more time, or if he consistently used it, he would have turned into something else, and we don't even know if that was going to be reversible, right? So him actually moving forward from his past is really amazing. A great character moment for Sanji. We're actually seeing Sanji grow as a character here. And it's dope because he took Luffy into consideration to make his decision. I also like the conversation that he had with Zoro. Of course, Zoro having this sort of rivalry, friendship type of dynamic with Sanji. It's no surprise that the first person Sanji called for help was Zoro. And here Sanji essentially tells him that if he were to lose himself, that Zoro should take him out. And then Zoro proceeds to say that this can only happen after you win your fight, so I can actually get to kill you. You know, the typical Sanji and Zoro banter. So that was great conversation between the two there. And finally, we end off the chapter with Sanji using Hell's memory for the first time ever since Fishman Island, and this absolutely sends Queen flying. I do also want to point out that Queen thought Sanji was using his raid suit to go invisible, but in reality Sanji was just moving so fast that Queen couldn't even see him, and that's actually super impressive. And so again, we're seeing that Sanji doesn't need tech, and that his natural potential was greater than any of the Vinsmoke. But overall, this was a great chapter for Sanji, and it would seem that Sanji is finally moving forward from his past. He isn't Vinsmoke Sanji, but Blacklick Sanji. He was always Blacklick Sanji. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I would appreciate it if you dropped a like on this video. Comment down below what you guys think. Hit the bell if you want to get notified for future content, and subscribe for more One Piece content on this channel. It is Pharaoh, guys, and I will see you folks later. Peace.